Hello, everyone, and welcome to the introduction to your Lean Level 1 or Yellowbelt program. If you're able to see this video, that means you've successfully logged into D2L and you're well on your way to moving towards your Yellowbelt designation. So what we're going to do today is I'm just going to go over the program really quickly, talk about the overview, the structure, go over some of the expectations in D2L Brightspace, and then at the very end, just make note to have a look at how we have your name spelled in D2L and make sure that that's the correct spelling. We are going to be ordering you some certificates to present to you during your graduation, and we want to make sure that everything is spelled correctly. So, Lean Level 1 or Yellow Belt is just a program that allows you to learn about different lean tools. And we want to help you understand lean and continuous improvement and the tools through online virtual learning or in person learning, depending on what program you enrolled in. But both programs will include group activities and simulations. We're also going to help develop the knowledge, skills, and confidence to apply basic lean tools so you can contribute fully to the problem solving or CI activities within your organization. Also, you should be able to participate meaningfully in lean and continuous improvement efforts when you graduate this program. So, if you remember in Lean 101, the main objective there was to get you all to speak the same language and understand the main principles of lean and how to identify wastes that are in your areas or in your processes. Now, with Lean Level 1, the main goal here is to be able to teach you some of the fundamental tools that you can use in order to not only identify, but also to eliminate those wastes. So, how Lean Level 1 works is Module 1 is our Lean overview, and that is going to be completely online through D2L. So, likely you'll be receiving the D2L login information a couple weeks before we meet in person, and that will give you the trigger to start Module 1, and you have a couple of weeks to complete it. Module 1 consists of approximately 8 hours worth of work, depending on how quickly you go through the quizzes, the material, the discussions, and some short assignments along the way. Then we're going to be meeting for Module 2, and that's again going to either be in person or virtually. And Module 2 is going to be focused on value stream mapping. If you remember in Lean 101, we talked about how value stream mapping are those steps that get you into the house of continuous improvement. And that will help you identify where those opportunities are so you can appropriately select the tool that you will need in order to eliminate those wastes after you get to the root cause. So we're going to focus on that for Module 2. The following day, we're going to look at 5S and standardized work as part of Module 3. So a lot of you have already been exposed to 5S, and a lot of you have already been exposed to standard work as well. And this is just the fundamental baseline foundation of lean and continuous improvement. So that builds off of value stream mapping in the previous module. At the end of Module 3, we're going to go over quickly the homework expectation that that you're expected to complete before we get back together for Module 4. So there is going to be a break of about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, to complete your homework, and that will be submitted through D2L, which I will go over in a little bit. And then we'll get together for Module 4. Module 4, we're going to be going over daily huddles and visual controls because we know that in order for us to be successful and sustainable in our CI journeys, we're going to need to have some visuals in our workplace. And then at the end of the day, we're going to do some problem solving and start the case study, which will bring us through the next day where we would complete the case study and then have a report out and graduation with your sponsors in the afternoon. So like I had mentioned, all course materials are available on D2L Brightspace. Those materials are also available to download throughout the whole entire program, in addition to 30 days after the course has been completed. So even after you've graduated your yellow belt and you realize that you need some of the materials that you learned in the course, maybe it's some forms or access to some of the videos or some of the PowerPoint presentations, you're still able to access the course for up to 30 days after the course has been completed, and you can access all of the material. It's also good to remember that before we get together for each module, there's some pre-work that needs to be completed prior to the module date. So, like I had mentioned earlier, you're going to have about 2 weeks to complete module one, but in addition to that, you should have prepared the pre-work for module two as well. Module three is going to be right after module two, so it's up to you whether you complete that pre-work at the same time or if you're going to be doing that pre-work at the end of the day for module two before we meet the next day. And I also had mentioned earlier that module three is approximately 8 hours of work, so it's good to space out your time wisely. So I'm just going to quickly go over D2L Brightspace. So when you log in, you are going to see this. Um, it's going to look a little bit differently for you, but for the most part, you're going to have a navigation bar at the top, welcome to Brightspace, and some videos of getting started with Brightspace, and then you'll see your courses here. If you are just enrolled in Yellowbelt through CME, you will just see your Yellowbelt program. I'm going to view this as a learner so I can walk you through how it would look like for you. And I'm just going to select any of the Yellowbelt programs that I have set up here. So when you get in here, you're going to see a bunch of announcements. And so the announcements basically would be, if we had a meeting set up, you would see the meeting link here. Or if, we're well into the program and there are some announcements, reminders perhaps to complete certain parts of the pre-work, they'll be available in the announcement side. On the very right, there's going to be our calendar, which will list all of the upcoming dates that are scheduled. And then you can scroll down to see a bunch of all of the modules available here. But it might be easier to go through the navigation bar. So there's the contents link here, and you can click on that to see all of the modules. So getting started, this is, one of those things that involves course overview, some objectives, so things that we've talked about already. Your course schedule is also available in here, and a couple of training videos on how to use Zoom if we were to meet remotely. Miro training is also used for remote facilitated learning, but it's also a very good tool regardless of whether we meet in person or not. So I do recommend you give this video a read and or a watch and have a look at creating a Miro account for yourself just as that online virtual board. There are a couple of discussion topics here to introduce yourselves to the group and think about some ground rules that you think we should follow in order to make ourselves successful as we're navigating through our Yellow Belt program. After that, we have our lean overview and history. So there are a few things to note. The lean overview, 8 forms of waste, and airplane simulation. So these 3 things really are just a refresher of your Lean 101. So just go through that and it shouldn't be too much effort. In your Lean overview, one important thing is to remember to do your pre-assessment quiz. So the pre-assessment quiz does not go towards your final grade, but it does help me kind of navigate through where the challenges are. So maybe if there's something that you need a little bit more refreshing, I'll look into the statistics to see where I should be focusing my effort. There's also some videos, some reading to do, and there's a discussion topic and a quiz. 8 forms of waste again. So it is a review of your Lean 101. Some things to look at. There is an assignment to do a Gemba walk with a colleague. And what this is you're going to download your waste hunt checklist that you've done in your Lean 101, bring a colleague with you, and just look for some waste. Then you can upload your assignment here, either through using this button or you can drag and drop. After that, we are going to go through a quiz for your 8 forms of waste as well. History of lean. This is a new topic. It's not from Lean 101, but basically it's just an overview of where lean came from. So some of you may already know that it was derived from the Toyota production system. So it's good to see where Toyota came from a company that was almost bankrupt to one of the biggest producers in the world. It's good to see how they applied lean throughout their journey. History of lean is a topic where you can see where a lot of the common lean tools came from, and there's a little quiz at the end of that. Lean in people is very important. And the reason why it's important is because a lot of times when people go through lean training and you ask them, why are you here? They'll tell you that, their supervisor sponsored them or their manager wanted them to come, or, they're expected to be able to cut costs and increase productivity and things like that. What tends to be forgotten is that lean is really about the people and how can we make their jobs safer, more efficient, easier to do, funner to do, and more productive. So it really is about the people. In Toyota, they say that they don't build cars, they build the people that build the cars, and that's very important in lean culture. There's also another assignment here. There's a CRS form where you can download that. And basically, what you do there is you take a colleague again and ask them what a problem is that they see on a regular basis. And then you guys can brainstorm some root causes and come up with some solutions. And that should be, learning through osmosis and helping your colleagues find solutions to their problems. Lean management system is a quick overview of that. There's no assignments or quizzes attached to it. It's very short. And this is just a review of the simulation. Each module has an evaluation link. So if you click that and leave some feedback, that will help me improve my facilitation as well as hopefully improve the course over time. So after you've completed module 1, there's module 2 and 3, and those will be hopefully completed before we meet before each module, and then we'll have our break, and I'll go over the rest of it when we meet again. So like I had mentioned, some quick details. Ensure your name is spelled correctly in D2L Brightspace so we can order your certificates with the correct spelling. And communicate to your facilitator. The facilitator's information is available on Brightspace, but any issues with D2L, if your name is spelled incorrectly, if you have any dietary restrictions, especially for our in-person sessions, because we will be providing lunch, and any questions that you may have. And lastly, for the graduation date and time is at the same venue as Module 5. So when we get together for a case study, that's where our graduation is going to be. And the sponsors will be sent an invitation closer to the graduation date.